Okay, good morning, everybody, and thank you for coming, and we appreciate, of course, your patience, too, as well. We just want to make sure we got the 911 tape ready for release when we get done this, too, as well. So I do want to introduce my staff. To my right, or your left, is Director Russ Martin, who is our Director of the Patrol Division. Immediately next to him is Director Scott Beaver, who's over our Operations Division. And then directly behind me here is Director Skip Cole, over our Criminal Investigation Division. To my left, or your right, is Commander Bill Worley, Criminal Investigation Division. Next to him is Commander Bobby Dean, who's over our Central Region Patrol Operations. Then last but not least, of course, is our Chief of Staff, George Harrigan. I do have the Lieutenant over our Major Crimes Unit here too as well, which is Lieutenant Jose Jimenez. He's here for questions off to the side. And then, of course, Sergeant Gene Tolbert, who his team actually handled this officer-involved shootings. I do want to start with this today, first of all. This is a very complex case. Even though you think the case is closed, it's not closed. We have a lot of work to do. There is two significant locations where these incidents actually occurred. So we'll kind of start with the first location. And I'll kind of back you up, first of all. This incident, of course, was basically a boyfriend-girlfriend going through a terrible breakup situation over the last approximately 2 weeks. We're going to leave the victim's name out of that at this time. She is protected, as you know. And then we'll talk to about our suspect, too, as well. I'm going to refer to him as our suspect, but his name is Kristopher Lee Johnson. He's 43 years old. He is from the state of New York, but he does have some residency time here in the state of Florida in St. Johns County. He does have a criminal history of violence in the state of New York and here in St. Johns County. So this incident actually started yesterday morning. Our victim, female victim of this relationship, went to the St. Augustine City Police Department and actually reported some violence, basically. She was concerned, basically, stalking, a boyfriend breakup, some stalking issues going on. She went to the St. Augustine City Police Department at about 10 a.m. in the morning. She actually reported this to the city of St. Augustine. And they recommended, of course, she seek an injunction for her protection. After that, really, this entire incident begins to unfold very, very quickly. So if you ask me the question what she did after that, we haven't got to that point yet. She is cooperating with us. She has been very, very successful as far as trying to tell us and build our timeline as we go down this road today. So yesterday at 3:40, we get the first 911 call. The first 911 phone call is made by our suspect. He actually opens his phone up, he makes a 911 call, and then he is meeting with our victim at a place just off International Golf Parkway. It's 38 Thomas Industrial Drive, I believe it is, 38 Thomas Industry Way. They meet at this location. They know each other from working with each other at job sites. They work for the same company at the time. They meet there. During the entire time, the 911 phone call, which we released to you today, it's approximately 7 minutes long. It has not been redacted. There's nothing in there in the public record that needs to be redacted. So a lot of questions you may ask, I'm simply going to refer to you going, listen to the 911 call. I think it's going to answer a lot of questions for you that you will have directly after this press conference today. So he makes this 911 call. It's an open line. He never actually speaks to our 911 operator. You'll hear the 911 operator on there numerous times asking, what is your emergency, sir? Can I help you? What is your emergency? What is your name? She asks numerous questions that dispatcher would normally ask for any other emergency that they answer the phone on. However, there's no reply. You'll hear in the background there, but they're basically where a man is pleading for his life. They're yelling at each other. Again, this has not been enhanced at all, so you have to do that on your own. But you can definitely hear there's an argument ensuing where someone is begging for their life, and our suspect is basically telling him to get on his knees, that this is basically the end. He's going to end this day to day. So our suspect, as we're tracking through social media and posts and other things he had done throughout the day over the last 2 weeks, that this was coming to a head. This was coming to an end with a coworker, and it was going to end in violence with a firearm, which I think you'll see here shortly through our statements given to you today. Anyways, you'll hear in this where our victim is pleading for his life. During that time, we received 6 additional 911 phone calls. Those are not going to be released at this time. Again, the best phone call you're going to have today is from our suspect, who will eventually, of course, his life is taken at the end of this situation. So as this unfolds, this is going on. Our victim is pleading for his life. From our other witness statements, they're chasing him around the vehicle, basically. He's firing multiple shots. You'll hear it on the 911 call. Our forensics team did a phenomenal job. They recovered 14 casings. We believe that magazine that he had, which was a Glock 22, it's not a Glock 22. That is actually just the model. It is a .40 caliber. So 14 shell casings were recovered from scene 1 or incident 1. So again, you'll hear on there numerous times he's pleading for his life. Shots are being fired. This entire incident on location number 1 takes about approximately 1 minute, as you'll time it on your own when you listen to the 911 call. At that time, the actual victim gets under his vehicle, hiding for his life. Shots are exchanged, not exchanged. Shots are actually shot at the victim under the vehicle. And eventually, we believe our suspect runs out of ammunition or has a malfunction and, of course, has to change his magazine out. Our victim actually takes off running for his life. You'll actually hear in the 911 tape, of course, our suspect is still looking for the victim. He gets into his own vehicle, which was a smaller car, the suspect's car, and he actually drives onto the construction site there off of Thomas Industry Way. He doesn't find our victim, and then he goes back to the actual site where the incident occurred. He jumps in our suspect's vehicle, which was a pickup truck. Our suspect now is in the victims. I know it's kind of convoluted here, and it sounds there's a lot of dynamics to this, variables to this situation. He actually jumps in our victim's truck, and he takes off down Thomas Industry Way and heads back towards IGP. Unbeknownst to him, our victim had actually literally jumped into another car on IGP, begging for his life, telling that person to please stop, call 911, someone is shooting at me. He knows who his shooter is. The testimony we have from our suspect's phone, which is going on at the same time, helps us coordinate with the dispatch process with our deputy sheriffs. But the additional 6 911 calls made off in the area of Thomas Industry Way, it talks about a vehicle tag, what was going on, shots are being fired, the suspect's in a truck. All this information is being put out to our dispatch, and our dispatch is actually dispatching real time to our deputy sheriffs. The suspect turns, again, in the victim's truck onto National Golf Parkway. He proceeds down to US 1, which is literally less than a mile. He gets onto US 1. Our deputy sheriff, which is the first deputy sheriff that actually engages in the traffic stop or trying to stop the suspect vehicle, is Deputy Hill, Robert Hill. He is a canine officer here at the St. Johns County Sheriff's Office. However, in this particular incident, there is no canine engagements. The canine is not being used, so it's Deputy Robert Hill. Deputy Robert Hill actually attempts a traffic stop. He attempts a pit maneuver on that vehicle. You all know what that is. We do it very often here in St. Johns County. He attempts a pit maneuver, and on pit maneuver number 1, it actually was not successful. He re-engages again. They're just south of White Castle Road on US 1, heading southbound. The second pit engagement actually works. He disables the vehicle. The vehicle goes off to the road to the western side by the railroad tracks, and the vehicle is disabled. At that time, the second deputy sheriff actually is involved just after the pit occurs, and his name is Jacob Johannes. Jacob Johannes is the second vehicle in the pursuit, and I know a lot of you have seen this already. We had a live feed citizen, resident, St. Johns County, in the opposite direction of travel on US 1 heading northbound that was physically stopped in the traffic because of this pit maneuver and what was going on, and she was actually posting it live yesterday while this was going on. So they got ahead of us as far as what was released. That was nothing to do with us at the time. Anyways, the second pit, as I said, was very successful. Robert Hill actually, because of the way the pit actually, and the way we teach, he drove through the pit. He does a U-turn on US 1, and now he's heading back northbound. Our deputy sheriff is in his assigned pickup truck. At this time now, our suspect exits his vehicle that was disabled. He actually is on US 1, kind of walking southbound on US 1 in the middle of the road. He's waving his firearm in the air. You'll hear on the 911 tape, he's saying, shoot me, shoot me, shoot me, kill me, on the 911 tape. And then, of course, and our deputy sheriffs are now concerned, of course, this is a man we know is going to kill somebody. We got a man that knows he's going to end his life. Today is his last day. Our job is to protect our citizens in St. Johns County. We got traffic stopped on Interstate 9 on US 1. Our deputy sheriffs, Robert Hill, engaged from his pickup truck on the opposite side of the road with a rifle. We'll give you the exact numbers as we get more into that to make sure we have everything accounted for. As you know, they have due process, our deputy sheriffs do. And then Johannes actually engages with his assigned firearm, which is a Glock 9mm. At that time, the actual suspect is dropped on the middle of the road. They immediately start providing first aid to our suspect. And at that time, he was transported, and then he passed away sometime yesterday evening. So at this time, I'll look at my staff here to make sure I didn't miss anything, make sure the facts are correct. Anything further to say? Again, we're going to release the 911 tape as soon as we are done this press conference. You will have the entire, I'm going to say approximately 7 minutes, but it is raw footage, meaning that you've got to actually put your headphones on and listen, but you can definitely hear the shots being fired at our victim on scene number 1. You can definitely tell he's going to kill him. Matter of fact, it almost sounds like an execution. Get on your knees is basically what he's saying. It's going to end today. I've already called 911. They're on the phone. They're already coming. He knows that he's going to take this man's life. And you can basically count the shots in there. Some are muffled, but you know that there's shots being fired on the scene. At this time, I'll take any questions. Please.
You said the video was posted by a witness. Where was it posted?
It was posted on, we assume it's just a person. We're trying to identify who that is right now. He or she posted it on their social media platform, and it was shared all over St. Johns County yesterday afternoon. Nothing to do with us. We're actually, We found it, just our intelligence people found it on posted on Facebook out there. Yes, ma'am. Thank you. Yes, ma'am.
License by way of actually was Jack. Did the suspect actually point the gun at them?
In this case, as we review the body-worn camera, which you'll get at a later time, that doesn't matter to me. Our goal is we have an active shooter in this situation. He's an active shooter. We know he's going to take someone's life. And the last thing we're going to do in St. Johns County is let that man walk down interstate or on the US 1 heading southbound and kill another innocent person. So as we slow down the body-worn camera footage, but in this situation, I really don't care what it says. What we're here to do is protect the citizens of St. Johns County.
And when should we expect the body cam? Are you going to be releasing the body cam footage?
The releasing the body cam footage, of course, as you know, we provide attorneys for our officers here in the St. Johns County Sheriff's Office. So once they go through that due process, but yes, we release that. But I'll be honest with you, my team is telling me I've not seen the body-worn camera. The actual footage that was released from the person that was filming live was a better angle because they were almost at the receiving end of the person that was walking towards them. That was probably the better angle than our body-worn camera. But there is body-worn camera from Johannes, Deputy Johannes, and Deputy Hill. Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir.
So in that video, there is like some time between when the man is walking backwards and running and when he's also being shot. So when is the time when you felt like, all right, this is the time to shoot? If you elaborate on why there was like that break in time too.
First of all, I don't want to speak for our deputy sheriffs that are doing their job. This thing unfolded so quickly with a pit, with a man that actually had shot. They had no clue at the time that the victim is dead or alive because the victim had jumped into a car on International Golf Parkway. So we didn't know how the extent of basically of the wounds could be on the victim. And also, too, but we knew for a fact, based on typing of our 911 operators to our deputy sheriffs that are responding, that multiple shots are being fired. So if you have not seen the actual post on, it's been on every media platform, or social media platform out there from real time yesterday. And again, I just watched it for the first time this morning because it is out there in the public. It's very, very quick, but as you'll see, the firearm in his hand is flailing. He turns back to our deputy sheriffs. You'll hear our deputy sheriffs screaming at him to drop the firearm, and then you'll physically see in the video, again, the public video that was out there and about in the social media, he is walking in that direction. The suspect is walking in that direction where traffic is stopped on US 1 North.
Okay. So do you have a reason why the victim and the suspect met at that business location? Or did you, talk to the victim why they met?
Yeah, so again, we're less than 24 hours when this incident occurred, and we really have two incidents. We have an attempted homicide at incident location number 1 off Thomas Industry Way, and then of course we have incident 2, which is our officer-involved shooting. The victim is being very cooperative. I'm sure you know that he's probably shaken up because that was his day to die yesterday. I think it was very clear, as you'll hear in the 911 tape, that he was going to die. Matter of fact, he was told numerous times to get down in the kneeling position. He was begging for his life. So the victim is very, very cooperative. So again, we know they knew each other. It sounds like, based on our victim, that they knew each other through working together. That's how they knew each other. They actually worked together at a common job site or a common company.
And the girlfriend was nowhere near either incident?
No, not at all. My team is telling me she was nowhere near incident 1 or incident 2. No, ma'am. Yes.
Elaborate on how this meeting came about between the victim who was being shot at and the suspect. Because I was under the impression that the girlfriend and the suspect were supposed to be meeting there. So if you elaborate on how the victim who was shot at and the suspect ended up agreeing to this meeting.
Sure, I'll look to my staff. I'm sorry, I'll look on the CID side of the world over here, please. Yep.
So those exact details we're still trying to sort out. We have a theory, an investigative theory that not to be disclosed yet, but they did know each other, like the sheriff said, and they did have a prearranged meeting at this location. The reason for that prearranged meeting is still under investigation, and again, we have a theory, but again, they knew each other. It was not, I think the victim had no idea of that this was going to happen. It was not going to, he did not have any understanding that it was going to be adversarial at all. It evolved to him almost getting murdered.
Just to confirm, that meeting between those two people is not connected to the girlfriend in this case, right? I just want to make sure that that's clear.
Yeah. No, I mean, at this time, right now, we are still looking at all aspects of why that meeting, came to place. So, and to see if the girlfriend had any linkage into that. We just don't know for certain right now at this stage of the investigation.
My last question about that. Right now, do we know if that was the person's boss or were they just coworkers? If you elaborate on that relationship, if you are able to have any
Yeah, right now, I understand they're just co-workers. I don't know there was some discussion that one may have been a boss to subordinate type relationship. We're not 100% sure yet, but we did know that they are co-workers.
And they were currently coworkers at the time when this all happened?
Yes, ma'am.
Can you disclose what business they worked at?
No, ma'am.
And was this the business, were they at the business that they worked at when this happened?
It's our understanding that one of them was there, I believe, in the field of labor or construction or something of that nature, and one of them was working there at that job site or close by that job site.
Okay, remind me, did the victim get hit? Was the victim shot?
No, the victim was not shot. The victim was shot at, was running around for his life, and he was not struck by gunfire.
Any more questions? Anything, Lieutenant Sergeant, please, if there's anything incorrect that we added out there, please. And what we'll do, I'm sure you all know this too, is Taylor Levesque, our PIO, will put an updated press release too as well as we unfold today, because of course the autopsy will take place today. There's a lot of things to really just settle down and just kind of get our facts together. Our men and women went to bed last night finally to just get our facts together, of course, and gather all this incident in course. Listen, and one thing I'll tell you too is that whether the suspect did these actions or not, someone's life was taken. And that is affecting somebody somewhere. We have identified his next of kin. They are in the state of New York, his mother and his daughter. He did have a violent criminal history out of the state of New York. He had a violent criminal history here, a very little one out of the state of Florida too as well. So we just got a lot of work to do. I know sometimes we're not trying to, we want to get the most information out to you, but I honestly think if you listen to 911 call, just take your time. It's 7 minutes of your life. Listen to 911 call and listen to it again. And I think you'll understand that our victim was going to die. And by the grace of God, 14 rounds that we counted for, that the casings that we could count, in a reload. If the reload didn't happen, if that magazine was extended, I think our victim would be a different situation today. We'd have a homicide scene with a dead person on our hands, an innocent victim, and then we'd have an officer-involved shooting with a suspect-involved shooting. So thank you for your time today. We'll put the Taylor in, when we put in the 911 call up. Okay, we'll have the 911 call to you here shortly, and then we'll have a picture too of the firearm on the actually side of where the victim actually was deceased on the side of the road. Thank you. Have a good day. Thank you for coming.